Episode 20. The meeting where nothing was decided. I was in a meeting recently, a leadership level meeting, a kind that's supposed to matter. It was framed as a partnership session. Feedback, outcomes, direction. And about 10 minutes in, I realised it was actually a pitch. The decision had already been made. The room was just there to receive it. I didn't say that out loud. I just read the dynamics and nodded at the right moments and thought to myself, why bother? That thought is what this episode is about. The meeting had a reason. They always do. The invite said partnership, feedback, and key outcomes. But what it actually was a room full of people of unequal power, performing the appearance of equality. Because someone at the top had already decided, and the rest of the room was just there to make the decision feel collaborative. The agenda was real, but the outcome was already written. The meeting had a reason. It didn't have a decision. Here's what happened in that room. Nobody said, this isn't a partnership, this is a pitch. Nobody named the thing. Because when you stick your head up in a room like that, you can get shot. And I don't mean that dramatically. I mean quietly. You become the difficult one. The one who doesn't get it. The one who's not a team player. So the room did what rooms do. Just nodded. Asked carefully calibrated questions that left space for the right answer. And I did it too. Because I read the dynamic. I said nothing that would cost me anything. And I thought, why bother? And I know that sounds cynical, and it's not cynicism. That's just a rational response to a room where engagement has no consequence. Here's what was actually traded in that room. On one side, the clarity that nobody wanted to name. The decision is already made. This isn't partnership. We're here to perform alignment. On the other side, the relationship, continued access, appearance of being valued, the meeting next time. And the room traded the first for the second. And not because everyone is weak, because the cost of naming it outweighed the benefit. In that particular room, on that particular day, clarity for comfort, decisions for politeness. The comfort bargain in a meeting isn't one person's failure. It's the whole room agreeing to trade the truth for the relationship. Nobody lied. Nobody was dishonest. The whole room just quietly agreed to trade the decision for the relationship, clarity for comfort. That's the meeting most meetings are. The framing matters. If the meeting is called a partnership, everyone has to behave as though it is one, even when it isn't. Partnership means both sides can change the outcome. Most meetings called partnerships have one side that already knows the outcome and one side that's just there to validate it. The word partnership does something useful for the person with power. It makes the other side responsible for their own compliance. You agreed. You were in the room. You had your chance to speak. But that's not partnership. That's power dressed in the language of collaboration. And the room just plays along. Because the alternative is being the one who named it. But the why bother feeling is worth looking at. Not because it's wrong, because it's the signal. That thought doesn't come from laziness. It doesn't come from low motivation. It comes from pattern recognition. I've been in enough rooms to know when the decision's already made. When the feedback has nowhere to go. When engagement is performance rather than contribution. The why bother is the moment. It's the moment you stop pretending the meeting is what it says it is. The problem isn't the thought. The problem is what follows. You attend, you nod, you show your face. The meeting gets ticked. Nothing was decided. And the next time, slightly less of you walks in. Quiet withdrawal isn't a character flaw. It's what happens when meetings constantly cost more than they return. Most meetings are like this. Not all, but most. The incentive isn't the decision. The incentive is the attendance, the relationship maintained, the box ticked. And so the meeting becomes a place where the form of agreement substitutes for the thing itself. We're aligned. We'll circle back. We're clearly on the same page. Nobody's lying, and nobody's being deliberately dishonest. The whole room has just quietly agreed to perform a version of that meeting. It cost nobody anything. And the decision, the actual decision, sits somewhere outside that room. Unmade, waiting for a moment that doesn't come in a group of this size. The comfort bargain at meeting level isn't an agenda problem. It's what people actually do. When the cost of clarity is higher than the cost of delay, and in most rooms, for most people, on most days, it is. I left that meeting intact. The relationship was fine. The tone was good. Nobody was difficult. The decision that should have been made wasn't made. And I thought, why bother? And then I attended the next one. What are you trading when you leave a meeting where nothing was decided and it was called a good meeting?